If you're looking for an alternate to defund the police, how about just hiring cops that aren't assholes? Jamie,
Right.
let's go watch First Blood. Happy Slice-Giving!
And welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. Here we are as we convene together. It is myself, Jamie Lorello, along with DP McCambridge over here. How you feeling, DP?
I'm feeling great.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Well,
yep.
It's a most wonderful time of the year. Not quite Christmas, not quite Hanukkah.
Nope.
Not quite Kwanzaa.
Are you just going to name holidays now?
Well, it's
like, not quite Flag Day.
No, I'm naming the holidays attuned to this time of year.
Oh, all right, okay.
But it is my favorite holiday, and it's a holiday very unique to this podcast.
I just have to interrupt real quick. So while you were naming holidays, you neglected to say Thanksgiving, which is the closest holiday to what this one is.
Well, once we have this holiday, Thanksgiving means not. Thanksgiving is merely a holiday to celebrate the fact that we get to have Slice-Giving.
Right. Yes, and sometimes this falls before Thanksgiving.
Right.
This is the day after. So really, Thanksgiving is just a prelude to Slice-Giving this year.
And you're just feeling grateful that Sly Stallone exists, that he made epic movies in the 80s, and that we get to experience them sometimes for the first time.
We're recording this in advance of Thanksgiving, but I'm just assuming that on Thanksgiving I was very upset that it wasn't Slice-Giving yet. I sat around the table, I berated my family for not being as great as Sylvester Stallone.
They could try. You should have them for Thanksgiving. Each come as a different character from the 80s. We should do that.
Listen, you may joke about that, but oh my God, if I could get one family photo of like one of them dressed like Sly from Rhinestone, and another one dressed like him from Over the Top, another one with a bandana tied around their head, and we can do all this.
Yeah.
Rocky?
Yeah. One of them has the boxing shorts on. With a little robe. Yeah. Your dad would be a good Rocky. I'm going to suggest that. And
this is extended family too. Okay, I was just dressing my daughter.
Oh no, you're
like
even better. The girls, I didn't think about that. I was thinking about the adults in your family, but even better to dress the girls. Yeah, this has to happen. This will bring joy to my heart for the holiday season. Hello, have you done your Christmas cards yet?
We actually did.
Oh, bummer.
I don't want to make assumptions. I have a feeling Carla would not go for that.
Oh, but once you show her some of the costumes, though, she may. And you got to give her the right one. Maybe she should be Rambo.
You know what? If I let her be him from Nighthawks with those big glasses and like a cool brown leather jacket, she might be into it.
She might dig that. Mm-hmm.
And then she'll be like, "Why are you also giving me this blonde wig to put on?"
Because it's the best part. Oh my god, so much good Sly in the 80s. So much.
I can't, and I knew this was like a legitimately good movie, like a well-received, critically, I'm going to say acclaimed movie. So half of me was like, I don't know if this will be that much fun if we're watching an actual good Sly movie.
Yeah.
But the guy never lets you down. He really doesn't.
No. No, he holds true. I mean, that's why he is. That's why he's, still going. There's a Rambo, I think it's 5. It's like recent, like 2000, like he fights the Mexican cartel or something like that.
There's 5. This one, the most recent one is called Last Blood. And the one before that was lazily just called Rambo.
Oh, they're like, listen, we don't know. And he's already had the first blood, so.
Right. I'm just, there's something that's so sad because growing up, when I grew up, and everybody was in love with Sylvester Stallone and Chuck Norris to a certain degree, but, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like all these action stars. And that just wasn't, growing up, that just wasn't my thing.
Yeah, that's
And
okay.
there's part of me that's kind of sad that it's taken me this long to get to Sylvester Stallone. But I'm kind of happy I'm like to the age now where I could appreciate this. Because when I was a kid, I guarantee you I would have hated Rhinestone. I would not have understood Nighthawks at all. So I'm so happy that it's going to sound morbid. I didn't die before I got the chance to appreciate Sylvester Stallone and the range of this man.
I mean, sometimes he's singing, sometimes he's fighting crime, sometimes he is the crime.
And again, all in a single decade.
Yeah. He was all, and he wrote a lot of these things, right? Didn't he partake?
He did get a writing credit on this, but I can only imagine, because there are other writers where they were like, Sly, would you like a writing credit? We'll pay you for this. Can you just write like dialogue for your character? And I can imagine him just being like, well, yeah, I don't know, I'll take you the weekend. And then Monday comes around and he's like, I think like my character wouldn't really say much. Like, I wrote a few things down on a cocktail napkin, and that's cool. Like, I still get paid for this, right?
You have a good Sly there, I have to tell you.
I break it out once a year.
It's good, though. I feel like it's gotten better, riper. Maybe it's just because I hear it once a year, but it's good.
Here's the thing. I have had a cold recently, so my
so
voice
you're a little more Sly.
is a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll work. It worked. Oh my God, how could I forget Cobra? Someone in my family has to be Cobra. I forgot how this all got started with Cobra. One thing that people have pointed out, not people that listen to the show, guests have pointed out that we never say what movie we're talking about. We're over 16 minutes into our conversation and have not said the name of the movie.
Yes, we've said it, just not in an introductory way, more like in a...
I have never said either the word first or blood at all. It has not come out of my mouth.
Well, there you have it then.
Yep, it's First Blood in that order. The order that I said the words. It's First Blood from 1982.
82, early on in the 80s.
Yep,
here.
directed by Ted Kotcheff. And as we said, there are other writers. I could read their names. I wrote them down. But why
There's
give them
4,
credit
right?
when this is Stallone? This is
Stallone.
Stallone. So maybe he's the third credited writer. He is, but I would like to assume that he ignored the script and was like, I'm going to do whatever I want.
Well, that monologue there about the shoe shine box and his friend that died and that emotional, that was just a improv, ad-libbed. He was just, his face does a similar thing when he's sad as it does when he's singing.
Yep.
It's
He does have one expression. That's the only. If there's a negative about Sly Stallone, there's one expression when he's intense. It's just an intense expression.
Because he's got that other one, like where he stares off when, he's such a silent man in the beginning when they're asking him all these questions, and
he's
when they're
not saying a word. You know what?
But he's
Jamie,
got this intensity in his eyes, like I'm brewing some.
He understands his rights, which we never see read to him. Because I need a scene where he has the right to remain silent, and he just nods, and then we get everything after that.
Yeah, I don't want to get too political on here, but this movie it makes me want to defund the police a little bit, doesn't it?
100%.
Like, this police department is insane.
My notes are just for me, but it took everything I had in me not to write pigs constantly in my notes. Like, it really is like right from the jump. It's like, hey, you know who's terrible? Cops. You know who's not? Pretty much everybody else.
Yeah. You know who's arrogant and aggressive, and they're complete. Well, let's get into it.
I also love how there's never any, and I'm sure this was intentional, because I feel like it would have, I don't know. I don't want to say it would have undercut a lot of what's happening, but there's never any reason given for why Brian Dennehy is the way he is.
No.
Like, I was so ready for him to talk about how he was in Vietnam.
Yes.
And blah, blah, blah.
And yeah.
No.
Or he lost
never.
a son or something. Yes. No.
He's just kind of an asshole who became a cop.
There is one. Who is the actor? Because he looked very familiar. The one that plays the redheaded cop that's always like, come on, boss. This is too much.
Yeah, David Caruso
That's
is
it,
the
that's it.
voice of reason
Yeah.
in this movie. At every turn, he's like, I think this guy's insane. Maybe we shouldn't hold him down to shave his face.
I love it too. Yeah. And then when they find out that he's like a war hero? A war hero? We're
Yeah.
chasing a war hero. Like, we can't just let this guy
Yeah.
be. And
He's
the-
kind of laughing that that guy fell out of the helicopter in his
Oh,
death
yeah.
once they find out that he was a Green Beret. And Brian Denny gets so mad. I do like the see where he's kind of like fighting David Caruso because it feels very real. He's grabbing his hair and
and it's
shaking
like
him
on
around.
his face. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I think David Caruso just disappears from this movie.
Was he killed?
Nobody was killed.
Oh yeah, nobody was killed. Maybe he was like, listen, I'm done. I'm retiring from this. This is not my jam. Bring in the National Guard, who were pretty much useless.
I would have kind of liked a scene like that of him walking in and just being like, that's it. And he puts his gun and badge on the desk
He's like, I
and
can't.
leaves.
Yeah.
No, Sly doesn't kill anyone.
No, you're right.
I think he may have killed two cops in a cop car when he had it run into a parked car and it
Oh
exploded.
yeah, yeah.
I have a feeling those guys might not be alive.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This movie's awesome. Listen, I am sure the two of us are so late to this party, but if people are listening right now and have not seen this, maybe just hit pause and maybe check this movie out.
Yeah, you're gonna
especially
wanna.
if, like me, for some reason, you watched the second one and the third one, which are just kind of like over the top, gross action hero movies.
Yeah.
This is not that movie at all.
No, this gives you the story behind it. Well, not even really the full
No.
story, because we don't know, like, and that's what I wonder. I think I have seen the second one probably the most. Like, I know
Sure.
this was watched in my house. I have an older brother. I'm almost positive he watched it, but it wasn't because Barrett was like, "How did you not see it with your brother and stuff?" And I'm like, "I'm sure you watched it. I just don't think I paid attention to it."
He was like, Stallone's Italian, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, this was yeah. But yeah, watching this, it was just I never didn't remember any of it, so I don't think that I saw it. If I saw it, I wasn't old enough or cognitive. I didn't pay attention to it. But yeah, you don't get a little backstory. Like, I don't know if he's got a wife or kids. I know he's got a friend that he tries to see. Who
had a friend.
He had a friend.
He had a group of friends.
He had a small group.
I kind of like that.
Me
Like,
too.
I don't
Me too.
need
I love. There's
a
no
whole
love
backstory.
interest. I don't need him to meet the secretary at
There's
the.
no women in this movie
No,
at all.
No,
There's
not
a
even
woman-
working at the.
There's a
police
woman in the
department.
police station working there.
Is she? I didn't see her. Because even
Yeah.
when they go to type things up, the men are doing it. Which
No, there's one woman.
Is
The only
there?
reason I noticed this is there's a great line as he's basically just beating the hell out of every cop in this station.
yeah,
A long way through this huge assault, a cop runs in out of nowhere and goes, "Hey, you can't do this," which I found a hilarious line. But in the background, I saw a woman standing at her desk.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I appreciate that we don't have any kind of romantic.
Oh no, that wouldn't make any sense. But it does feel like something that you would shoehorn into a movie like this.
You could, but that's what makes this movie
That's yes.
so good. Is
That's
that
what
they
makes
don't.
it a little more. You're taking it a little more seriously, and I'm
That's
not
right.
saying that if you remove Ray Don Chong from Commando, it's a serious movie. It's not, but it really is. Like, you know what we need? A woman that maybe he's into, maybe becomes Alyssa Milano's mother at the end. We're not sure. We'll leave that up to the audience to figure out. But they just put her in that movie, and they could have done that. Like, they could have had him run out of the police station, and instead of steal a guy's motorcycle, like steal a car, and he takes a pretty
And
hostage
it's a lady,
with him.
right, yeah.
Yes, but thankfully they did not do that.
Well, thankfully, because man, does he rip out the roads with that motorcycle. I love watching him. And he gets that I mean, how fast could that motorcycle really go? It was like a scooter more than a motorcycle.
Yeah, but he used the terrain to his benefit.
That's right. That's right. But that cop car had nothing on him. What are you trying to chase here with that clunker of a car? He did try, though.
Yeah, that cop car had nothing on him. I don't think Brian Dennehy's going to beat Sly Stallone in a foot race or
He thought he could.
a fist fight.
Up the hill. They had to climb that mountain, and Brian's like, "Oh, forget this."
Brian Dennehy basically gets out of his car, looks around, and is like, I don't know.
Yeah, call for backup. Call for backup. I mean, I know the area.
I think I need a helicopter to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into
Let's
this
do it.
movie. The opening is kind of adorable because it really is just credits over Stallone, just like bumming around the countryside. He's got a big, stupid smile on his face, too. Like,
Yeah.
the world has not destroyed him yet. I mean, give him like an hour.
This looks like Popeye's town. It reminded me of the town, right?
All the houses are
Yeah.
like crooked and not positioned in any logical way. Like they're not facing each other. They're not facing the same direction. It really is just like a mountainside shanty town.
Yes. Yeah. Or Mountain Lake. There's some water
Right.
there. There's some, yeah. And yeah, we see a happy Stallone and you know, he's approaching a home.
Yeah, he's looking for an old friend of his, Delmar.
Oh, he's got some stories to tell about Delmar.
Oh, my
Pictures
God.
to show.
He approaches this woman and basically has to give her every piece of evidence in his wallet that he
To
actually
make sure.
knows this.
Like, I really know him. Well, she's not very friendly and welcoming, let's be
No.
honest. He's clearly walked all the way into town from who knows where. And she doesn't even offer him, like, well, I can't give you your buddy, but, you know, I have a warm bed or whatever.
Right, yeah, and it's not even like she tells him immediately what the deal is. It's just kind of like, no. And he's just like, hey, look, I got this note that he wrote. You can tell it's his handwriting right here. Oh, also, I have this picture. It's a picture. And he's naming like all the people in
Look,
the picture.
I saved a wisp of his hair. This is his hair, right? And you could tell? Yeah.
He kissed my hand. I haven't
Yeah.
washed it since.
And you're right. She's playing kind of hard, and
Yes.
finally she comes out with, you know, he's gone.
Right.
And he's like, I love it because he's like, well, what time's he coming back?
What does it go? I can just go in. I got a TV. I'm sure there's a game on or something. She's like, no, he's dead. He died.
Of cancer, of the Agent Orange.
And he's really broken up. And the lady's upset. I think it's so adorable how Sly then hands her this picture that he showed her
Yeah, like-
of them. He's like, here's this picture
My only picture
of us.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good.
Here
And
you
that's
go.
it. And now the movie that we thought was going to be, you know, something that was upbeat about this war veteran returning because he was smiling is now sad. But you know what, Jamie? Can anything be bad when you're entering a place apparently called Holiday Land?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the name of the
What?
Holiday Land. And doesn't it say...
It says, Welcome to Hope.
Welcome to Hope. That's right. Yeah.
Yikes. I would not want to go to this town.
Well,
this
why?
sounds like a weird culty.
And maybe that's it. The sheriff's a sadomasochist. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
It's
a-
a town. I mean, first of all, it's a town that women are not allowed in.
well, yeah, or at least not in public. They're just
Maybe that
meant
was
to
the
stay
thing. Maybe that's
home.
why he told Stallone to cut his hair. He's like, that long hair around here? You're asking
We
for
don't do
trouble,
it,
buddy.
Yeah, we don't do it. You got long hair like that, you stay in house in the kitchen. Got it? Put your
So we
blonde
now
wig on.
meet, I'm going to say, our antagonist.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, people can disagree. Maybe you think Blue Lives Matter. But Brian Dennehy, and he's having a great day, too. He's
Yeah.
walking out of his sheriff's department, grinning ear to ear, like finger gunning people on the sidewalks.
Sure,
and
yeah.
He knows everybody.
This is his sweet town. Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like it's a very small town. I mean,
How so?
it's not
It
a
just-
big town,
Yeah.
but it's got... And I'm only saying this because, Jamie, you saw where I grew up.
Oh, right.
I had to drive like 15 to 20 minutes to get gas. Like, that's a small town. There's a gas station, there's a main street with a bunch of stores and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying Brian Dennehy wouldn't know a lot of people in this town, but it really seems like At one point, he should say something like, "There's only 37 people in this
Oh,
town."
yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know that there are hundreds, if not over 1,000 people in this town.
Well, I think it's a little contained little mountain town, right? I don't think it's
Sure.
huge, but yeah, I think it's all just everything is just right there in the downtown.
Yeah.
It's not a metropolis by any means.
No, and he does, like we said, he knows everybody well enough to make fun of their hygiene.
Yes, he wants them all bathed. That must be a town law.
I guess he goes out to do his morning ride around
Yep.
and immediately sees a shifty dude
Just
walking around.
And offers him a ride. He's like, hey, where are you headed?
Oh.
And Stallone really has no direction. He was going to see his friend, but that didn't pan out. And now, where do you go when you got no one? Right?
Yeah, it really is a, hey, you want to ride out of my town?
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to do that for you. Because the moment he gets in this car, I mean, Brian Dennehy is riding him immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But
And he even says it. Stallone's like, what do you got against me? What's going on here?
and it's never explained. Like,
No.
it really isn't ever explained. It
No.
is just like, the only thing I can think is this town had trouble with a drifter one time.
Well, that's because
And it's
essentially that's what he says, right? Like, a
Yes.
guy like you is not a good news for this town. We don't. And he, like you were saying, how you used to have to drive 15, a while
Yeah.
to get to your gas station. He drives him clear out of the town. He's like, Stallone's like, maybe I need a breakfast. I need something to eat. Anywhere I
Yes.
can get something to eat around here. And he's like, yeah, about 30 miles out. I'll take
30
you.
miles out. And I was ready for Stallone to be like, are you driving me 30 miles away?
Essentially, he does.
Because if you are, I'll take that. But he drives him across the bridge, like,
Yeah.
passes the town line and then kicks him out of the car.
Well, again, that's why I was like, because again, it's like a wintry mountain town. He makes a comment. We said this earlier. I don't know if it was when we were recording. Stallone's got his little army jacket on, and the sheriff is like, you can't come around here with that flag and that. So I was like, is he in Canada? What's happening? And when he drives him to the bridge, I'm like, did he take him over the border? Where does he go?
Jamie, we were thinking the same thing because I was like, is he a Canadian cop? And then I was like, wait, were Canadians against the Vietnam War? Or were they fighting? Like,
Same here. I was like, I am dense when it comes to history.
I was like, wait, what is the geopolitical situation like Vietnam-wise with America and Canada? But like I said, immediately I saw that he had an American flag on his jacket too.
Right.
So I was like, no, this is just a town in Oregon or Washington or something.
Yeah, somewhere up.
Yeah.
But yeah, because he's headed towards Seattle or Portland, and Portland is south. So yeah, it's somewhere northwest.
Yeah, I mean, they
somewhere.
talk about Seattle later when Brian Dennehy's like, I wish I could imagine that he's going to be Seattle's problem.
Well, so as we said, he drops him off and it's just like, all right, now take my advice and listen to it. So long, and I love it. Fucking Stallone takes a look around. He's like, oh,
great.
this is the middle of fucking nowhere. I'm going back to whence I came. Turns around and heads back, starts walking toward the cop car. And now Brian is like, oh, no, mister. I didn't drive you all the ways here so you could just come back in my town. What you doing? And
Yeah.
immediately arrests him.
Immediately arrest him.
Finds his knife. Now, this isn't just this man, he's carrying a knife, a sharp enough knife that when he claims it's a hunting knife, why is it so ridiculous? I'm not a hunter. I don't know.
Right.
But don't they use knives to like cut hooves and shit? They use a hunter knife, right? Isn't that a thing? The hunter's knife?
Listen, I know as much about hunting as you do.
Oh.
So, yeah, they use it to cut hooves out of the grills of cars, I guess.
I thought they used to knife the hunters. But he finds the knife on him. The sheriff finds the knife on him and is like,
Yeah.
what is this? What is this for? And I would have bought the hunting thing. I'm a hunter. I'm
Yeah.
a drifter. P.S. I'm a man on my own. I might need a knife to, like, I don't know, chop the wild boar I find in the forest.
I know. Yes, and the way he reacts to Sylvester Stallone existing is
Yeah.
so bizarre and something that I cannot wrap my head around. I'm like, can't you look at those sad eyes and feel sorry for this guy?
He doesn't
Like,
at all. No, he
but
wants him to get a haircut and a bath immediately.
Yep, exactly. But like you said, immediately he puts him in the cop car and takes him back to the station. And now we get he and the police station, and as you mentioned earlier, we see basically a baby David Caruso. This is like a fresh-faced 19-year-old David Caruso.
So young.
He's the cop with a heart in this movie.
He is. He's the only one that has a like, hey, what do we do? All right, sorry. And even like a guilty look when the other cops are, because all the cops are jerks here. All the cops.
Basically, he gets there and they're all laughing about him and look at this pig, and they take him downstairs. He's immediately like, this is a through line, at least at the beginning of this, where he's starting to have flashbacks.
Oh, yeah, we see the flashbacks.
He sees the bars on the windows, and he's seeing bars on a cage, like bamboo bars on a cage, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And he's resisting the entire time. First of all, it's not telling anyone his name.
No, he's giving everyone the silent treatment. He just has this look, like you said, these sad puppy dog Stallone eyes, but they're angry and they're something's brewing in there, you could see. And he's kind of like fighting back a little bit here and there. He's like jerking himself away when they're trying to fingerprint him.
Oh my God.
He's like not letting, they're like, just roll your finger.
That fingerprinting scene, if played a little bit differently, could have been like an Abbott and Costello routine. Like the way that this guy is like trying to grab his hand, but he's staying put. He's got ink all over his hands. And the one guy's like, he's not letting me fingerprint him.
It's true.
It is really funny.
I know when the sheriff comes out, he's like, what's going on down here?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Nightstick guy, if there's someone worse than Brian Dennehy, it's this guy.
Yeah.
And he's really, really angry.
Another
Brian
with no
Dennehy's
reason.
Basically like, I don't think you're going to get his fingerprints. How about you guys give him a shower? Because I've been talking about
he's still
showers
stinky.
since my character showed up in this movie.
Well, then
Do you think in
ahead.
the 80s and 90s, like, directors or casting agents just had Brian Dennehy on speed dial for a cop? Like, he is such a cop actor. Like, immediately in every movie where they need a cop, I could only imagine around the table somebody was like, so what's Brian Dennehy doing? Can we reach out to that guy?
I'll just say yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So when they decide to give him a shower with this giant fire hose.
they hose. Hey, this is something for the ladies. It's a hot Stallone topless.
We get some Stallone
Gets all
buns.
wet. He's got some buns, some muscle. Hey, there, Sly, looking good.
But also some scars.
Oh,
Lots
ouch.
of
He was
scars.
lashings. He took some lashings. And we get the flashbacks of those, too, where he was being hung by some, I guess, Vietnam bad guy, I'll say.
Yep. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, a Vietnamese bad guy. And
Not a Canadian,
he
is
was
what you're
tortured.
saying.
No.
Okay.
And he was apparently tortured by them. But as we find out later, he is basically trained to ignore torture, to rise above torture, to not even feel these.
He's trained to eat stuff that would make a billy goat puke.
That is pretty great. He's trained to eat things that make a billy goat puke. Really? A billy goat?
Because all I see is him eating a pig, and it looks delicious.
He cooks it. He gets a nice roast on it.
Right. I don't see him, like, digging through deer shit to eat, like, corn kernels. out
No,
of
and
it
is
or
that
anything.
really part of the training? Like, is that part of torture where you have to eat crappy shit? Is it like a big game of that Joe Rogan show? You know, that one where he would make people eat shit?
like,
Do Fear
Stallone,
factor.
You got to eat 12 hissing cockroaches in 3 minutes.
It's part of your Green Beret training.
It's part of your
Get on it.
You want that Medal of Honor? Well, this is what you got to do.
Well, and Brian, the sheriff wants to staple it to your liver, that Medal of Honor. What does he say? Something about that?
That's exactly what he says. Yeah.
Oh,
he's
man.
he's unhinged. Like, I don't think this guy should be, even after he recovers in the hospital, I don't think he should be sheriff of this
No,
town
I think they
anymore.
need. Well, and I think the town. I'm hoping that at the end of this.
I think he may lose the next election.
Yeah, I think the town is like, we should have waved the white flag a little earlier. Like, literally, this guy blows up the town. Anyway, we're not there yet.
Yeah, David Caruso is going to run against him on a platform of not blowing up the local gas station.
And keeping the people safe. How about when he has to come over the intercom and tell the whole town, like, civilians, you need to get inside. Like, basically, he's like, I fucked up. And
I really
my
needed
ego...
like reaction shots of people being like, "What? What's going on?
Yeah.
What's happening?"
Isn't it Christmas time too? How come this isn't? I know everybody says that. What is that movie that people say is their Christmas? Die Hard is their Christmas movie. How come First Blood isn't your Christmas movie?
I have no idea.
Right?
It should be. It might be in my regular rotation.
I think
from
it
now
should
on.
be. Yeah, and a very John Rambo Christmas to you.
Right. They're basically going to shave him with a straight razor while choking him with a nightstick while he's struggling, which seems extremely dangerous.
Well, like you said, Caruso's like, this isn't safe. This guy is not very calm, and this isn't. And he even tells him, "Come on, buddy, try to stay calm while I do this to you."
Yeah, David Caruso's like, "Hey, can you stay calm a little bit?" And then he looks at his friends. He's like, "This guy's unhinged. I don't think we should do this." I really expected him to be like, we should probably bring doctors in or something, like someone just to talk to this guy. But no, all of these cops are like, we don't know you, so we have to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we just have to hate you.
That's what this is.
We have to hate you, and we have to.
Right.
Yeah, because what is he even arrested for? He's arrested for
vagrancy, is what they say. That's made up. Vagrancy's not a real thing. I think that's a made-up crime. I think jaywalking is more real because they actually have crosswalks.
Oh, right.
I don't know how you define vagrancy. Jamie, I don't know anything about the law, but I'm just assuming it's not real.
Well, you grew up in a small town. What would you know? Come on.
Right, we didn't have crosswalks.
Yeah.
We barely had roads. My entire town's roads looked like what he's driving up the mountain in.
It's true.
All right, so Sly's kind of had enough, and he's finally realized, like, oh, wait, I can probably easily take these chubby, out-of-shape cops and David Caruso, who weighs about 112 pounds.
He was just waiting for the right time. Like, they just needed to push his buttons. But he was like, you could see it in his eyes. He was inventorying the place the whole time. He saw where they stashed their guns. He was, but again, he's a trained soldier, more than a soldier. So he wasn't just going to go ape shit on them as soon as he got in.
No.
But when he does go ape shit, oh my goodness, is this precinct just upset that they pushed the wrong guy? And they did.
This precinct is demolished.
Yeah.
He beats up every single cop, throws several of them through several windows, which I found very funny.
Yeah.
And is able to, like, anyone that wanders into his path is just basically punched out or kicked through a wall or thrown out a window.
When I play that arcade game Mortal Kombat, you know that game Mortal Kombat, I just push the buttons really fast to make all the moves happen, and then he goes, the action figure goes like crazy. That's what I feel like Rambo's doing in this police department. He's just like, you're pushing all the buttons, and he's just because he's punching, he's kicking, he's choking, he's pushing, I don't think he shoots anyone. I don't think he uses any weapons.
No.
But he
shoots one guy in the leg, the guy who has all those dogs.
Oh, right.
But that's later.
Yeah. The guy.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. He does do something to those dogs, though. He doesn't. Yeah, we don't get to see.
No, he doesn't like train them and make friends with them.
No.
No. Yeah, if there's one knock against John Rambo, he does murder some dogs. If we're gonna get him, you know what? If we're taking him in, charging him with one thing, it would be animal murder.
Yeah, animal murder. That's right.
But that's later. They forced him to do it, I'm going to say.
Right.
So like you said, he's button mashing his way through this police station and then just like runs outside. I love how this poor guy who was just out for a ride on his dirt bike and just happened to drive.
Oh, yeah. This was a 1, 2, 3. He gets, I didn't even see him get the guy off of the dirt bike. It really
is like a reach out, grab and pull him off the bike. The bike spins. He grabs the bike with the other hand and hops onto it. It's amazing.
Fucking amazing.
And then he's off, and since Brian Denny, he's the only cop standing, he's the only guy who manages to get in a car and chase him.
Mm-hmm. And it becomes quite the chase, like we said.
A long chase, yeah. Chase into the woods. And like we said, the cop's car is kind of like no match for his dirt bike on these dirt.
Well, he's doing like
roads.
BMX tricks and stuff. He literally is. He's like jumping over the train tracks and
Yep.
going through like these little ravines and going up and down, getting air. And he doesn't
Yeah.
quite do a flip, but he does a couple poppy wheelies.
Yeah, and
Just for
there
fun.
are a couple times, and this shows how bad a cop I would be.
Yeah.
This is the first of many times where if I was Brian Dennehy, I'd be like, well, I guess I could just tell everybody he got away. Like, I would be more than happy to go back and be like, that was crazy, guys. I don't know where he went. Sorry. I think, I'm pretty sure he left town, though.
We're safe. Yeah, we're all good. And it basically, Rambo alludes that he would do that. Like, listen, if you just get off my back, I'll move it along. The whole point is get off my back.
No, he doesn't say that. All he wants is he wants to get some food in this town, honestly. It's his Richard Crenna. It's his, major or whatever that guy is.
Oh, his
colonel.
commander, yeah.
He's the one who's basically like, how about you just let him go? Just let him go. We'll find him eventually. Just let him go. You're not dead. When he comes in, because I really like his character in this.
I do too.
Because like I said, I've seen the other two movies. I know there's 5 of them, but I'm just going to say I've seen the next 2. And he's in all of them too.
Ah.
But in this, as opposed to the other ones, it was kind of like he read this script and he's like, you know what? Sly Stallone's not saying anything. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to chew scenery. I'm going to have these amazing one-liners. Like, I am going to be tap dancing all over this movie, which he doesn't do in the other ones. Because in the other ones, it really is like, Rambo, I got a job for you and nobody else could do it. So I guess I'm leaving now. I'm out of this movie.
Oh, I
for the
see. So
rest
he
of
just
it.
kind of comes
Yeah.
in and give him the yeah. No, he's I like
just
him in
love
this
the
movie.
things that he's saying about how I can't believe that you guys aren't already dead.
Yeah.
And how he's like, I'm not here to save him from you. I'm here to save
yeah.
you from him.
Yeah.
It is awesome. My favorite line of his is, if you're expecting to take 200 men out there, the only other thing you need to make sure you have are plenty of body bags.
Yes, plenty of body bags.
Really awesome. But we're not there yet.
No.
But he does get away, and while the cops are regrouping, this is when he designs a cute little parka for himself.
Yeah.
Should we call it that?
Yeah, he finds this little I don't know what he finds. It's like burlap sack kind
It's
of
like
thing.
a tarp or something.
Yeah. And I didn't know where he was going with it at first. I'm like, what does he need that little get up for? What's he doing? But then I see he uses it to help him camouflage.
The cops basically, once they regroup, they kind of bring the entire police force, which is only like 8 dudes.
Well, yeah, 8 dudes, but they've got the guy with the dogs.
Yeah,
They've got another guy on call with a chopper. Tell that guy to bring the chopper out. And yes, there's not a lot of manpower, but
Plus, a lot of them have
collectively,
already
they
been
pull
beat
in.
up and like have bandages on their faces and stuff.
Well, I think
And
that's
I
yeah,
lo-
and they're all a little apprehensive too. They're like, are we really going to do this?
You know
boss?
what's I'm not going to disagree with you, but I don't think they're at that point yet, because this is what I found so weird about
yeah.
this point is they're walking around in the woods with guns, cracking jokes and stuff, and not one of these guys is like, did anyone remember that guy beat up all of us like 20 minutes ago? Like, they're just cracking jokes and are like, I guess it's time to gun this man down. So there's all sorts of stuff happening here. He kind of gets cornered for a bit at the edge of a giant cliff.
I don't know where he is, but the terrain here is like he's there. It's woodsy, but it's also very mountainy, hilly. So a lot of steep inclines, I guess you could say. And they're chasing him now. Is it the dogs? They have the dogs with them at this point?
Yes.
Or is it just the dudes? Yeah. They're chasing him, and he is doing a good job of avoiding them, but he doesn't know the terrain as well as they do. This is like their home, right?
turf.
And he gets to a certain point where there's just a cliff, and he looks and water. It's like a huge like plunge down into the water, and he's looking at and there's a chopper on the way, and so he starts to scale the mountain essentially, or this cliffside.
Yeah, he decides there's no way to go but down. And, he can do this, I guess. I'm not sure. Or he thinks he can. But it all goes bad when this chopper shows up and for some reason,
Well,
it's with the guy the nightstick guy, the really really evil guy.
Well, and he was the first guy I think that he beat up, that Rambo beat up in the
Yeah, because
he was going to shave him, and
he's the guy who he won't give his name to. He's also the guy who tried to strangle him with the baton after they showered him. He's the guy who sprayed him with a hose. Like, he's the guy who did just about every terrible thing to him, except take him into the police station in the first place. So this guy makes this helicopter driver, I'm going to call him a driver, go down into this canyon with a helicopter and like precariously hover as he takes shots at Rambo.
And even the helicopter guy is like, hey, we're not supposed to shoot him, and I can't keep it steady that much longer. Like, I'm not. And this guy doesn't care. This guy now has, like you said, if Brian Dennehy has some kind of vendetta against unknown vendetta, this guy's is even bigger. He's like,
later on, it's funny. Brian Dennehy says to one guy, "And tell that chopper to get back." And the guy goes, "The pilot says there's a storm coming." And I can only imagine this pilot's like, I think there's a storm coming. I gotta go. Bye, guys.
I'm heading back. I'm not heading back that way.
I may have kind of been responsible for the death of a police officer. I should probably go now.
I'm gonna lay low for a bit. Yeah.
Also, we're this small town, get a chopper, but whatever. So this is all happening, and he ends up falling off the cliff. But thankfully, trees break his fall.
And they do cut into him somehow, but he's pretty resilient. Now, unlike our friend Busey, who takes the bullets out and saves them in a jar, Rambo, at the bottom of his awesome knife, has like a little sewing kit that he can sew himself back up.
The first time he unscrewed the bottom of the handle, I was like, is there booze in there, Rambo? Is that where we're going
he's not
with
a
this?
boozy kind of guy. No. He's got to be a Sally sober for the work. Now, you don't probably know this because you said you didn't watch this as a kid, but Barrett said that as a kid, he had the Rambo knife, like that was a thing, like a Christmas present toy to get this.
I remember seeing
plastic knife in the. Yeah, I feel like again, my brother probably had it.
Did the bottom come off?
Yes.
What? Was there a needle and thread in there, or could you just put whatever you want in?
I think it was probably more you put whatever you wanted.
All right.
Because then that would encourage kids to, sew up their skin, and I don't know.
All right. Instead, it encouraged kids as they got older to have a great place to hide their weed from their parents.
That's right. Where you keep your weed in my Rambo knife.
My Rambo knife. Well, Mom, don't throw that plastic knife away. I know I'm 17 now, but I still want it.
Sentimental reasons.
Right. Yeah. It was my favorite Christmas gift.
Right.
So he's all bloodied and beat up, but that doesn't stop this guy from continuing to shoot at him from the helicopter.
Yeah.
And Rambo gets out of this scrape by throwing a rock.
Well, he's behind a tree.
Yes.
He's hiding behind a tree, Rambo, and getting shot at behind this tree. And finally, he's like, I don't know what else to do. If I run, they're going to shoot me. So he gets a rock and he throws it at the helicopter, which I guess it messes up the driver of the helicopter.
We see a tight shot of the driver's hand, like, whoops, push the little stick over, and this guy falls out, but he's still high enough up where this dude totally splatters on these rocks down below.
Ooh, and what a splatter it is. And then his friends that are the rest of the precinct has to find him.
It's kind of the most and only gruesome part of the movie, to be honest.
Well, yeah.
In a movie that becomes, in a series that becomes like over the top, hilariously violent with like body parts flying all over the place. This is just Rambo. He runs down and he like picks this guy up like, no, I'm going to shake him to death. But he's totally dead. And he takes his radio and
his jacket.
I thought he took his jacket
just
too,
the radio
but
out
I don't
of the
think
jacket.
he's ever wearing it.
No.
So this is what he does, and
but they're not going to mistake you for this guy. You're clearly got Stallone's face.
He's like, I've been working at this police station for 4 years now. These guys have no idea. He just pasted on a little mustache and shaved his head bald. 4 years later, David Caruso's like, you look an awful lot like, and then he hits him with a coffee pot, and it starts all over again. So maybe that's the next Rambo movie that Sly might make. So this is also when everybody else, all the cops are at the top of this giant mountain, I'm going to call it, and he's down below. And they're like,
Right.
oh, my God, I think he killed that guy. And Stallone's like,
He surrenders, yeah.
He surrenders to the, hey, how about you leave me alone?
Yeah.
And no
yeah.
more of you will accidentally die like that guy did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they start shooting at him, so whoop, he takes off.
Like a cartoon. Yeah, he does offer himself though. He says, let's just end this, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it really is like,
I like
all
it.
right,
He says, I didn't
do
do anything. He's like a kid, when you're like blaming a kid for like, what'd you do here? I didn't do anything. He's like, I didn't even do anything. He just fell out of the helicopter. It wasn't me. You're chasing me.
Well, then why do you have his radio? I don't know where this, I don't know. I had this the whole time. So, yeah, and then they take shots at him. Like I said, he runs off, and now it's totally on.
Well, now they get the word, too, that he is a war hero.
Oh.
And because they've done the background search on his ID, on his dog tag and everything. And now they're like...
I did find David Caruso's reaction to this information kind of funny, because he's like, hey... I thought there was something about that guy. And I was like, did you see him on the news? Like, what are you talking about?
He's just a war hero type. And then they're all like, oh man, those Green Berets, they're intense.
Yep. Yeah, there's this one chubby guy. It's like, did you hear about those guys? They're really rough news.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he beat all of you up.
Yeah. Did you need him to beat? Now he's labeled a Green Beret, so now you know why he beat all of you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I wanted them to be like, he's just a garbage collector. And then to be like, yeah, but you know about those garbage collectors.
They could be pretty fierce.
Right. Mm-hmm. I thought there was something about that guy, because this is when he takes out the dogs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But the dogs are also sent to kill him. Like, dogs are sniffing him out, and they're like, if that's where he is, go get him, dogs. And then you just hear the whimper of a dog.
It's a lot of whimpers, and then you do hear a couple gunshots, and the old guy who brought the dogs, he gets shot in the leg or something.
Yeah.
It's a mess, because now it's basically like Brian Dennehy's like, what would be great? Let's all spread out and wander around in different directions. This is now when we see that Stallone's got like branches stuck to his back and everything. He is totally into
amazing.
This.
I'm not saying I do this now, but I've started my morning walks. I do these morning walks, and I thought, what a great idea. I'll just go incognito. You don't know what's out there, right? And now, what is this, a tree walking this dog? What is this, a bush walking this dog? Is the dog walking itself? What is happening?
Did that tree just hold a knife to my throat and tell me to let it go and then run away?
I'm not up to threatening my neighbors yet, but
no, not yet. Okay, all right.
That could come. Right now, I'm being all elusive around the neighborhood. They're like, "What's this?" I'm trying it on for size.
I do want you to like walk around just with a stick and imagine that you're a bush and nobody can see you.
All right, if you do your Christmas card where all of your family has to dress up like different 80s Stallone characters.
I may suggest that. And just, like bring up different pictures from the movies and be like, pick, what do you want?
What resonates with you?
Which of these looks are you drawn to? So he really does, like one by one. He's punching a few of them. One guy he ties to a tree.
Oh, he's got this. So he's ready for them. He's ready for them.
Yes.
The dogs get taken down, and then they go in. Like you said, they separate, but they go in surrounding him, and he's got booby traps set up that he's made, because the one guy gets a branch comes and it's got spikes in it, and it cuts him right at the groin. And every time one of them gets hurt, they yell for the captain, for the sheriff, don't they? They yell his name. They're like, please help, help.
Everyone is just yelling Will, and you just see Brian Dennehy pulled in 8 directions at once. Yeah, they're all getting like systematically taken down in kind of interesting and horrible ways. That guy that gets that like spiked branch through his thighs, like, that's got to be the worst, because I'm like, I don't know if that guy's walking.
Well, there's another guy hanging on a tree,
yeah,
isn't he?
He's got like a cord around his neck, and he's totally stuck to that tree.
Yeah.
And then one cop accidentally shoots another cop.
Yeah.
So it all culminates with, again, Brian Dennehy being last man standing, and Sly jumps out of the bushes with his giant knife, holds it to his throat, and he's like, I could have killed all of them.
Yeah.
I could have killed you. Let's let this go. Do. Like a little pixie,
And then,
he's back off into the
flutters
woods.
away. Yeah.
And it's awesome, because now we get like the regrouping scene where they're like, we're going to bring in the National Guard. And now, let's all sit down and have some coffee and get our wounds taken care of. And this is when...
Wait, I do think it's important to note the line that he says, Rambo's line, when he tells him, let it go, don't push it, or I'll give you a war you won't believe.
Don't bring in the National Guard. Just be like, oh, you know what
Go
this
mellow.
guy... Yeah. You know what this guy did? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing before I started harassing him.
Yeah, he didn't shower.
Yes.
He didn't shower. He was a little stinky.
Yes, right.
He's a little stinky and hungry.
Yeah,
And he's
we
wandering
are
in
all
my town.
the heroes of our own stories, but I even think Brian Dennehy could look in the mirror and be like, maybe I'm in the wrong here.
Yeah.
So now this is when Sly's boss, Rambo's boss, Richard Crenna, I don't know his name in the movie, I can't think of it, shows up. And like I said before, he just starts chewing scenery.
Yeah, he does.
It's amazing, because he really is like, hey, all of you are going to be dead. So why don't you let me handle him? I trained him. I made him. I'm kind of like a father figure. I'm the only friend he's got left.
Right.
Let me take care of this. And Brian Dennehy wants nothing to do with it. He's like, no, I'm going to take everybody out there and kill him.
And at first he tries to just say, like, just back it up. Like, not even let me help you with him. He's like, why don't you just... But it's gone too far. Like you had said, like the National Guard. It's not just the National Guard. There's like... The National Guard, I don't know. There has to be police officers from all the surrounding counties, not just this one.
There's a lot of guys.
The news is there. They're all hunting for this one guy who just didn't want to leave the town.
Yeah.
Like, really? Are we going to get, again, defund the police? You have all this money in this little small town to go chasing this one man who you insist needs a bath. Like, really?
It is really funny how he basically tells Brian Dennehy how to do his job, because he's like, let him go.
Right.
You put his picture on the news. You'll find him in a couple days, like working at a car wash in Seattle.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah,
that makes sense, Brian Dennehy. This does not need to be like, you're not this big rough and tumble hero cop of this town. Stop trying to be a hero cop. You're living it up in this tiny town where there's really no incidents. So just go back to doing that.
But like you said, we never get the backstory as to why the sheriff is just so intense. You just know he's arrogant. There's a lot of ego there, and he just doesn't want to lose, basically. Yeah. And he doesn't care that who this guy is.
There's something wrong with this sheriff. I mean, I really think there must be, because even later on when he and Richard Crenna are kind of buddying up and becoming chums, and they're sitting and they're having a drink at that bar. Richard Crenna's even like, dude, come on. To you, this is a job. You get to go home when you're done. You get to go back to your wife. You get to go back to your little flower garden, I think he says.
I like it,
And I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty sweet gig to be sheriff in a town where nothing fucking happens. Just be happy that nothing's happening. Don't get all your dudes killed.
And that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Dang, that's what he does.
It's
in the
great.
meantime, while the commander...
Can I also say, before we jump back to Rambo, I do have to say, Brian Dennehy's jacket in this scene it's like 90% wool collar, and it
Oh,
looks so
yeah, it is a classy
huge.
looking coat.
It's so high up in the back, almost higher than his head, and then it's just a giant collar coming down the front. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, you do.
But now you can talk about what Rambo's doing, because
Well, Rambo's in the woods making a little campfire for himself, more than a campfire.
yes, he's got to kill that pig. I mean, he's got to
Yeah,
cook that
He
pig.
found a wild boar and he's cooking it up. And is he having a flashback or two? I feel like there's maybe a flashback or two that we see. Maybe I'm wrong in there.
It might have been in the scenes where he's after the guys in the woods. I'm not sure. But this is where we do see he's got like this little cave. He's got the radio on so he can hear everything
Oh
that's
yeah,
going
because he's
on.
got right. Well, and this is when now they use that radio. So yeah, they know that he's not communicating with them, even though they're trying.
Right.
You know, and the sheriff convinces the commander to talk to him, right?
Yes.
Over
Yeah.
the radio. He's like, come on, he'll only listen to you. And then if he talks a little bit in the radio, we can get more of an exact location as to
Yes.
where he is.
I do like how he's like, we're going to get a great exact location. And later on, he's like, he's west. All right. Great. Fantastic. And then after this, and I'm not trying to gloss past this, I do find it funny because then we cut to all these National Guard guys walking around in their goofy little, like, woodsy helmets on.
Oh,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And you just hear them talking, and you hear several guys being like, I don't know, where are we going? Which direction is what?
So what's up with the
nobody's
National
prepared
Guard?
for
Are
this.
they all just they're volunteers, yeah?
The one guy seems to be the local pharmacist.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really know what the National Guard are. I really think, I mean, even Brian Denny, he makes fun of them, calling them weekend warriors and stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's like, hey, if shit goes down, we get the National Guard, which are these guys that train 1 weekend a month or something like that in
Okay.
case something bad happens.
Okay.
They're no match for Rambo. Nobody's any
not.
match for Rambo.
No, but they're definitely not, and they'll admittedly so. Like when they're kind of staking him out to where
so
he
great.
is, and
Yeah.
they're like, he's like, all right, you're going to go in there. He's like, oh, I'm not going in there. Chances are he's in there, and he's going to want to kill us. So I'm not going in there. He has another guy, and he's kind of, you're all right, AJ, you go
Yeah.
in. He's like, no, I'm definitely not going in there.
Yeah, these guys are really funny because they have no trouble, like, just open fire. They're just blowing the shit out of this. It's kind of like a mine that Rambo's held
Yeah,
up in.
yeah.
And then the one guy's like, all right, let's move in. And they're like, fuck no, dude. I'm not getting paid enough, possibly at all, to do this.
Like, this guy's really going to kill us.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we might go in there and get him. Like,
Right.
he's waiting for us to murder us.
Yeah, he may just have a knife, but I'm pretty sure he could kill all of
Yeah,
us with
yeah.
it. The one guy's like, all right, let's get this rocket launcher out, which I
yeah.
don't know. Are you giving these National Guard guys, are you giving your local pharmacist a rocket launcher and telling him to go in the woods? No!
No,
You can't
you
be.
shouldn't.
Oh,
Well, wait.
But we do live in
before we
America,
go in,
but go ahead.
Before we go in, don't we have a group of like basically locals that are helping
Mm.
out? Because doesn't a kid come across Rambo?
Oh yeah, that's around the time that he starts taking everybody out. Yeah, but there
Right.
is just a kid. Yeah, there's just a kid
Who
'cause they
kinda
do
sets
chase him
everyone
into that
else
mine.
off.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So they.
Oh
rock-
wait, and we forgot
Oh, yeah,
about when
I'm
they
sorry,
say the
go ahead.
titular line. Sorry, I got
Oh
so
no,
excited.
no! Yeah, when he's on the radio with him. Go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So when he's on the radio with his, because he did, we were saying how the commander, they had to get the exact location, but the connection he has with the commander is the commander, starts out by naming all of the guys in the troop,
Right.
as if he's calling them, and Rambo's like, they're all gone. It's just me. I'm the only one left. And then the commander's trying to convince him, Rambo, like, maybe we just need to end this. This is,
Yep.
just had enough. And Rambo says, they drew first blood, not me.
He says it twice. He
He
says
does.
it twice.
Because
This
it's
is like
titular.
I said. You know what? They got Rambo They got Slide to write his own lines, and he's like, well, I'll put the titular line in.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to get us all off.
No,
but
we probably shouldn't have gone past that because it is a nice moment when he's on the radio with him
Yeah.
and they're bonding. And when Rambo said there's nobody left, and he's even like, I'm still here.
Yeah.
You're not alone. It's you and it's me.
Right.
Also, I don't know how much this guy's lying to Rambo, because he's like, "Where have you been?" And he goes, "Oh, I've been at Fort Bragg." And Rambo's like, "I'm calling there day and night, and they
Yeah.
can get a hold
And
of
you're not.
you."
He's like, oh well, I'm not there so much.
I'm in D.C.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, what are you trying to keep from
Yeah,
him?
yeah.
Yeah. So they blow up the mine, but we do see that Rambo has escaped a little bit
Oh yeah.
before they blew it up. And, there's a lot of back and forth, like we said. This is when Brian Dennehy
He's
thinks Rambo's
pissed.
dead. Oh, he's pissed.
But he's pissed that they blew it up. He's like,
Yeah.
what the hell now? And then he goes to them, well, now you got to clean it up and you got to find the body. And they're like, what? That's when the guy's like, but I have to work at the pharmacy on
Go to the
Sunday.
pharmacy tomorrow morning.
Yeah. He's like, well, I don't care. What you got to do is find me the body. Because he wants his he wanted to torture, I think, Rambo.
Yeah,
if he found
it
him.
makes me think he kind of wants Rambo's head hanging on the wall of his
Mm-hmm.
office. Like, I feel like that's where he's going with
Agreed.
this whole thing.
Agreed.
Yeah. So we see that Rambo isn't dead. He's
Right.
in this mine. He's
Ooh.
like making torches and all sorts
Yep.
of shit, like
Yep.
doing amazing things that I'm like every time he's walking around with that torch and he's watching where the wind blows and realizing he could get out of there. I'm watching this going, I would be dead in no time down
Yeah.
here. Like I
When
would
he's
just go
crawling-
deeper and deeper into darkness until I realized I don't know how to get out. And then I'd probably be eaten by rats.
Oh, when he's crawling through the rats, I'm like, oh, that's when I would just give up.
Yeah.
I would just cry in a puddle when the one is attacking he's like fighting them off. And it's funny because he goes through this whole underground mine and there's only a little section that's rat infested because once he gets done with the little section,
Yeah.
he gets cleared out again and he finds the ladder and it's up. But yeah,
you
when
mentioned this earlier, but it seems like a video game where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, that's the rat level down there.
Yeah.
You might not want to go there. And also, these rats are giving him more trouble than all of the human beings with guns.
Yeah,
He actually
yeah.
is legitimately bothered by these rats.
Yeah, he gets a little annoyed. They hurt him a little bit, even more so than the lashings that he got in Nam.
Yep.
These rats get to him.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So while Brian Dennehy and Richard Crenna are bonding over some drinks and just, talking shop, but also kind of just insulting each other the whole time.
Yeah.
They never really become friends. He manages to make his way out,
Yeah.
and he basically hijacks an army supply truck.
I love it. He hops right in. The guy's like, I ain't got nothing against you. And Rambo doesn't care. He pushes him right out of the She's like, what do you got back there? And it's
It's a
know.
bunch of guns. It's like
Yeah.
M60s or whatever. And he again has another car chase. But he kind of just rams these cars. Like I said, these may be the cops that he kills because he rams them into a parked car.
Yeah.
And they explode. And then they're like, oh, we put up this amazing barricade, which is kind of just a single cop car. And it also looks like they may have put a jump in front of this cop car for some reason
And
because he
he-
jumps over it.
Rambo could care less. He drives right through it. He doesn't even flinch.
Yeah.
He's got that
He-
big army truck and he just keeps cruising.
He does let out a yeah. It's just like the most emotion we've seen from him up to this point in the movie, and we're like 45 minutes into this at this point. But he's very excited that he wasn't killed.
Yeah. That he did it.
And now, I don't know how long he's been driving because it's nighttime, and he only drove back into the town.
Oh yeah, it happens real fast. We go from like daytime driving, escaping, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's night. Yeah.
It is a weird cut. Immediately
It's a quick
to night.
transition, yeah.
It was almost like, oh no, we're gonna blow a lot of shit up, and that looks really good against the dark sky.
Yeah.
It's night.
Cue the
now.
nighttime, right? Well, maybe it's just daylight savings because you know how all of a sudden it's like dark when
You're
it's
right.
daylight savings. Like maybe
I need him to look at his watch and go, 4:55.
it
What's
feels
happening?
like 6. Yeah.
So now I thought this was kind of interesting because it appears that just for funsies he blows up a gas station.
Yeah. Well, he's letting them know he's here. Well, they kind of get the word once he gets the truck.
Yeah.
Then somebody picks up the driver that he pushed out of the truck,
Right.
and we get the word that Rambo
Right.
is still alive.
Yeah, I do like how Brian Dennehy to Richard Crenna, he's like, you knew he was alive the whole time. And he's like, I had a feeling.
Yeah, kind of. Maybe I did. I did train the bastard. Yeah.
Part of his training is me shooting rockets at him, and he was able to make it through.
He crawled through a mine and no. Just
He
saying.
excelled at mine training. It was his specialty. Didn't do too well with the rat training. I was a little afraid of that.
Yeah, but he pulled through anyway.
Basically, Brian Dennehy is like, I got to shut this whole town down. And
Yeah.
he does. He gets
Yeah.
on loudspeakers, shuts the whole town down.
And you're
And-
right. I wish we had some of the townspeople's reactions of like, what the hell? What's
This town
happening?
appears to be deserted.
Yeah.
This is a town of cops. Maybe that's why there was an issue.
No,
with
there's
Rambo
people
being
like in the
there.
little town square.
No,
Again,
I
I
know.
wanted a little more of it. And again,
Yes.
would have made it a more memorable Christmas movie if it was like Christmas people shopping, carolers out, because it is the holidays. We see that in some scene or another.
Right.
So it would have been more.
There's
but
no
we didn't.
hustle and bustle or anything like that. How about when Brian Dennehy climbs into, I'm going to call it the police station attic. He pulls down
yeah.
those attic stairs.
Pulls down the stairs. I'm like, what
Like,
is
I was
this?
ready for him to start looking behind Christmas decorations.
I know,
to
it's
see if
because you're
Rambo's
finding
up
the old
there.
family projector and looking at old pictures of the precinct boys when they were just in their training.
It's so great. Also, Rambo manages to knock out the entire power to the whole town in really no time.
Well, is this before or after? Because what luck, in the middle of town is an guns and ammo shop.
Oh, yeah, this is when he's going over there. And at first I was like, oh, he must be looking for something very specific. Nope, just making a pile of bullets in the
Yeah.
middle of the store.
So that he can make big explosions happen. Let
Mm-hmm.
this town know I am here. Again, he's not taking down a lot of people. He's not
No.
murdering the civilians in the town.
No,
he's
no.
just exploding the town.
Yeah, it's really like,
Exploding
fuck this
the
town. I'm going to burn it all down.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to burn this place. Because that's going to make Brian Dennehy even mad.
Right.
Even more upset than if I killed him.
Right.
I'm going to burn his nice little town to the ground.
Yeah.
So now, for a little bit at the end, we get the most brief cat and mouse game.
Oh,
Brian
between him
Dennehy
and yeah.
Sylvester Stallone.
But we all know Sly's got his eye on him more than Brian's got his eye on.
Oh, Denny
Sly.
doesn't know what's happening. He's running around up on that roof from end to end, popping his big fat head up. So
I
that
will
Sly
say
can
though,
see
he
him.
rarely looks all that scared. Like the entire time, he does look like he's like, "I'll take him,
Yeah.
fuck him, I'll take him." Like
Yeah.
he never looks like, "Oh shit, this guy's really gonna mess with me."
No,
I mean he
that's
might
why.
feel.
That's why I think there's something wrong with him. Because I
Yeah.
think at the end of this movie, we don't see this because we don't get a scene of him in the hospital or anything like that.
Right.
I think he's upset that he did not die in a hail of bullets at the
Yeah.
end of this movie. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's all this guy wants. I think he feels like they will make a statue of me in this town
Yeah.
as long as he totally just guns me down.
And he doesn't even
get
give
it.
him that
What he-
satisfaction. Yeah.
What Brian Dennehy gets is to lay quietly on the floor at the end of this movie while the two of them talk.
And get taken out by a stretcher with an
It is-
IV.
It's awesome because the whole time, and I don't want to ignore Stallone's, I will say, amazing performance at the end of this movie.
Oh yes.
But I can't tell you how many times during this wonderful performance I was like, is Brian Dennehy dead? Is he dead? Like, I didn't see him leave. Is
Well,
he just
so-
lying like off camera?
Wait, so lead us up to there. So
Yeah.
they have this chase, and Dennehy's on the rooftop, and
Right.
and Stallone's busy exploding parts of the
Mm-hmm.
town. But they essentially Stallone is after Brian, and
Yeah.
Brian or the sheriff, and the sheriff is after Stallone. We
Yeah.
all know who's going to win.
Right,
But-
but Stallone manages to get into the precinct, and there's like this big skylight, one of those triangle like skylights that I only see in 80s movies. I don't think they made those things beyond 1989. And Brian Dennehy's up there like, I'm gonna wait till he walks in, I'm gonna shoot him, but he's so slow, and
Yeah.
Rambo shoots him up through the ceiling.
Yes.
And then Brian Dennehy falls through the ceiling onto the
Ouch.
ground. And Rambo's totally ready to, I don't know, just knife this dude.
Mm-hmm.
But his boss walks in. He's like, Rambo, don't do it.
Yeah.
Listen, I understand that he has an Academy Award for Rocky.
Does he?
And
Rocky.
yeah,
Okay.
and well deserved. He wrote it. It's a wonderful movie. I don't know if a single scene, you deserve an Academy Award for, but boy, this is a scene that, like, this is 100% a scene they would play at the Academy Awards when they call his name out, like, and he's nominated for First Blood. Because this is, and it's not just like the screaming and yelling, which is good, which he does, but
Yeah.
like raw emotion and sobbing and like actual pain
Yeah.
that I felt. I was like, this is amazing.
Well, and it makes you think. It does make you think about a vet, a Vietnam vet or any vet for that matter. It's the Rambo rant, right? Because the commander is telling him it's over. It is over. And this is when he loses it.
Do you think Stallone was like,
Absolutely.
do you think we could call the character Rantbo?
No.
That's terrible. What a dumb
That's
joke.
terrible.
All right.
That was silly. That was just silly. But like you said, it's the spectrum of emotions. He's angry. He's sad. He tells us a little bit of a story about when they were about a shoe shine box blasting his friend to bits and pieces, and he had pieces of his friend on his shirt. How did he get pieces of friend on his shirt? I don't even know. He's like talking to himself really too, and mumbling,
really
and
is.
the lighting's really weird on Stallone's face because this is what I was saying, like his face when he sings and his face when he cries, like Adrian, it's got this weird, it's like
It's
this
like a crooked
strokey,
face. It's like a crooked
it's
mouth,
a weird,
right.
but it's not just his mouth, like the whole one side of his face goes all
Right.
and so it does that during this, and it's as awkward as it can be. It's beautiful, like you said, award winning.
So great. It really is so great.
Yeah.
And just the fact, and again, this is, I'm just so amazed that, again, I've gone this long. I talked about it before we started recording, when we were just recording for the patrons. I've gone so long in my life having seen the second one many times and the third one less times, but still several times. And they just feel so different than this movie, because this person seems like a human being to me.
Oh, and the other one's a machine.
He's just a machine. Like the Rambo and Rambo 2 would never cry. Jamie, men don't cry. They shoot people who are from Vietnam. That's what men do. And that's what the second and third movie wants you to think this person is. It's not the same John Rambo as the first one.
No, I love that they do this. I love
Yes.
that they show his raw emotion. They let you know, and then it puts it all in perspective for you. And you almost want a similar breakdown from like you said, because what the fuck then is wrong with this police sheriff? Like, where did you become? At least we know what happened to Rambo, why he's crazy. But what the hell?
So you wanted, after this,
I wanted
we just
another
hear
one.
whimpering over in the corner, and it's just Brian Dennehy being like, "My dad never hugged me," and just the two of
Yes.
them being like, "Oh no!" And then there's just a big group hug at the end, all three of them, and they walk out of the police station together.
Could be beautiful. Could be beautiful.
It would have been something.
Yeah.
And then, the end of this movie is him being led out of the police station and sort of down the street, and we see Brian Dennehy being loaded into the back of an ambulance, so he's not dead. He's walking down the street with flashing police lights and everything as the sun rises, and freeze frame on him, roll credits. So awesome.
It is so awesome.
This is an amazing movie.
It
I'm
really
going to
is.
say it is fantastic. Like one of the best movies I think I've watched for this podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to. I don't know that I'll say the best movie of
Okay.
the podcast.
I'm not
I'd have
saying
to
the
really
best.
take them all
One
in.
of.
It is. It was wonderful. And I, like you, was going into it going, I'm sure I'll make the best of it because it's a Slice-Giving and it's Sylvester, but it's going to be action. And like you said, I don't know after another one if I'm ready for this kind of action, and just, but it's beautiful. It's so well, it's just great. It's a great movie.
Yeah. There's like heart to it.
Yeah.
but there's still action. Like, it's still
Yeah.
an exciting movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, everything felt
Right.
real too.
felt right
Like
and
for
real.
as goofy as some of it was. Like, again,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're bringing a helicopter into this canyon or whatever, but it still felt real. It felt like these are people that have insane emotions that I cannot like understand, but it didn't seem comical or bizarre at all.
No, it was really well done.
Yeah,
Really well
it's
done.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. People should see this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy Slice
people
Giving.
should see this movie from 1982.
We're going to recommend that people
everybody
see.
loves.
Actually, it was hard for me to come up with. What are you recommending off for this that people watch again?
I'm going to recommend a movie that I just saw this week, and it's a
Oh.
very new movie
Okay.
called Green Knight.
Oh, yeah. I watched that one too.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I did think. I kind of thought it was a little draggy in the middle, as
Yeah,
a lot
but-
of movies sometimes get.
But the
especially when
actor
you're-
did a great job, I thought. The guy that played the knight. Yeah.
Yeah, just like, but again, I would say the first 45 minutes and the last half hour totally make up for if
Yeah.
you feel like it's getting a little much, as he's going on his journey. Super fun.
I
It's one of those
agree.
movies that I'm like, there's more here than I'm understanding. Like, there's something.
It's more,
this
it's
means
saying something. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I am very excited to, like, just go online and just read about it a little bit, or what
Yeah.
people think about it and stuff like that. But no, it was really, really great. And if people haven't seen it, I think you can like rent it on demand and stuff
Yeah,
like
I feel like
that.
it's available on a streaming outlet, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really great.
It was really good. Good call. Good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, what about you?
I had a tough one because when I like a movie so much, it's like, gosh, I'm like almost taken aback by that I liked it so much and I didn't know what I should recommend. But my go-to was, I know Brian Dennehy as Tommy Boy's dad. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend another excellent epic film from the 90s, Tommy Boy, R.I.P. Chris Farley.
Boy, you're right. Yeah. Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
No, he's not just a cop. He's Tommy Boy's dad.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair.
No.
And here's what I'm going to tell you. Big fan of Tommy Boy. I don't know how many times in college I saw Tommy Boy.
Such a good movie.
Dozens
Fat
of
guy
times
in little
easily.
coat.
And
So good.
It was a couple months ago. I was falling asleep.
Yeah,
And I was
you're
like, I
dozing.
need some comfort food, just something to it's either going to keep me awake or it's going to just
Lull
put me
you
out
right
'cause
to
I'm-
sleep in a
yes.
good way. Yeah.
And I put Tommy Boy on, and it's really funny still.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
Really, really
it
great.
is. I mean,
Yeah.
really, we lost Chris Farley way too early. He was fabulous.
Yes, and
Absolutely.
can I use Tommy Boy, which is a strange thing, to plug the podcast I do with my wife?
Oh yes, what a
Because-
segue.
There's an episode of Schitt's Creek when you've seen Schitt's Creek?
I've
right?
seen Schitt's Creek.
You've seen it. You've seen the show.
Sure.
So when David opens his little store,
Yes, yeah. The
there's
apotrophy.
a giant line around the building, and he's
Yeah.
walking to get in the store, and he's like, "Oh my god, what's happening right here?" And this lady comes out, and she's like, "Get in the back of the line," and he's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I'm Darlene. Who the fuck are you?" And I was like, "That lady seems so familiar. It's the waitress in Tommy Boy."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, that's that waitress from Tommy Boy," and that's what she's doing now. So that's all.
I mean, at least she was in Schitt's Creek. Yeah, you should plug your show because you're recording more episodes, right? You have a new one out
We
for
are not
shits and
done.
giggles.
Yes, right. Yes. I tracked that if we're doing it every other week, we'll be done in early 2023.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, but you know what we should plug? We should plug what else we're doing on this podcast.
Oh yeah, there's more coming up here.
All right, everybody. So get ready because it's December, which is always theme month.
It is.
Last year it was pretty easy because we had an episode that came out on the first day of Kwanzaa and an episode that came out on Christmas. So that worked out for us. But I kind of long for the days of Billy December. Even those movies weren't very good.
No, they weren't, unfortunately.
They weren't, but I like the idea of wrapping a month around an actor.
Sure. Well, with the lead up being Slicegiving, it only makes sense that December go into another actor. Yeah.
Exactly. So this time we're going to have a little Jamie Lee December.
I dig it.
So my thought, and I really went back and forth because I was like, oh, there's so many movies. What do we do? So I thought it'd be kind of fun to dive into 3 different genres of film.
That's what we're doing.
And to take her from the very early 80s, 1980, all the way to 1989.
Ooh.
So we're going to start with our patrons only episode.
Okay, it's
which
a P
comes
only.
Out, yep, comes out on December 1st, and it is a horror movie called Terror Train.
Terror Train. Jamie Lee December. Jamie Lee December.
You'll get it by December 30th.
By January 1st, I'll have it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said 30th. There are 31 days.
31 has December. It's Terror Tower. What's it called?
It's Terror Train. It takes place on a train, not a tower. And if you're into magic, David Copperfield's in it. Just wanted to throw that out there. But if you're not a patron, and you should be, we're on patreon.com/goodtimesgreatmovies. But if you're not a patron, our first movie is going to be a bit of a romantic film. Going all the way up to 1985. Don't you want to watch Jamie Lee Curtis and John Travolta wear spandex?
Wow.
And rust a lot and take aerobics classes?
That's how I like to spend my Decembers.
Yeah. I read a synopsis. She runs an aerobics class, and he is a reporter
A reporter?
doing research on health clubs.
Oh, and they fall in love.
And they fall in love. And I
Are
don't
there
think there's any
musical
more to it
numbers
than
in-
that. I was like,
Okay.
oh, well, where's the thriller element? Is someone trying to kill them? I don't think so.
No.
I think it's just them.
It's just health
There's-
club love.
If you just type in perfect 1985 into your image search, it is just sweaty photos of these
Oh. Well, we'll have
So,
to wear
I
our
can't
best
wait.
spandex when we record. I dig
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So that'll be 2 weeks away. But consider the Patreon. You get all our back Patreon episodes. You get uncut episodes early.
That's right.
We talked for 10 minutes or so about this movie. We tried to avoid it and then started talking. We got way too into it and then had to actually start
Yeah, we had to
recording for you
back
guys.
up and say, wait a minute. People need to
Yes.
hear this shit.
But we will talk to you all again in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening, everybody. We greatly appreciate it.
We should do.
Until then-
Yeah, we're
Oh, go
thankful
ahead.
for you. We're thankful for you. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I'm
Yeah.
thankful.
Yeah.
And so are you.
Yeah.
That's why you said we.
Yeah.
Guys, we really know how to end episodes. We're so good at this. All right, everybody, have a great 2 weeks. I'll talk to you then.
Bye.
And every
To eat things that'll make a billy goat puke.
Oh, okay. Or I could do and a 1, a 2, a 1, 2.
Wait,
Like,
wait,
did they
you
do-
can't do that. If you're already going on 1, you can't start your countdown with 1 and say 1 multiple times.